I'm Pam,
I'm Barry.
and this is the Mixed Review, where we do movie commentaries and mix in social issues. Our next movie was Terminator Genisys.
In Terminator Genisys, we see the continuation of the Terminator franchise. This takes place as an entirely new reboot from the original four, and in this series we see that there has been a Terminator already sent back to protect Sarah Connor, and Kyle Reese and John Connor have not been introduced in this one at the beginning. However, of course, they are introduced later on. And of course, with this new reboot, we have a villain that is bigger, badder, tougher than the previous.
Okay, I'm going to take this stance in this review as someone who's not really a Terminator enthusiast. I saw the first one a long time ago, and this is the second one I've seen. And the plot was, for me, very confusing, kind of convoluted. I didn't really understand what was going on, and there were a lot of unanswered questions, which I thought was not really appealing for a reboot of a series. You wanted to actually know where it's coming from and where it's going without being like confused the entire film, and that's where I was. So let's go to the acting.
Okay. And first one up would be, well, let's start with Sarah Connor, since she was the main theme of this whole thing.
Poorly cast. That's how I would put that. They chose her based on her looks alone, as being a familiar looking character to the original, but they cast her way too young. She looked like a 14, 16-year-old, and she kind of acted like one. But what made it weird was they kept telling her that she was to mate with this man,
Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese, who looked about 30. And that was kind of the underlying plot, that they had to get together and give birth to John Connor. But when you see how young she looks and how old he looks, it was distracting and it was a little bit unnerving for the viewer.
Excuse me, I would have to agree with that part. The cast of those two characters alone caused a lot of issues in the back of my head of red flags going up here and there. Um, it didn't look like it was a match made in heaven, which is what it was supposed to be. They were too different,
Mm-hmm.
to put it mildly. They were just too different. They're in two different spaces. Now I understand one is supposed to be coming from the future, one is supposed to be coming from the past, and they're supposed to get together. However, the look of these two, just the look of these two, was enough to throw us off to say, no, this isn't working.
It was very distracting.
Yep.
And if we leave that character and go to, what is his name again? Reese?
John Connor or Kyle Reese?
Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese.
He's in the Divergent series. He played the villain, the hardcore recruiter, and he was really good in that film. And in this film, he brought some of that hardness to this role, but his acting was kind of average. I wasn't really feeling what he was trying to do. It was like, okay, this is what his role is. Here are the lines. I'm going to say these lines, and because I'm saying these lines, you're going to get what I'm trying to say. Acting takes more than that, and I don't think he put that much effort towards it.
I would agree. It was Kyle Reese was supposed in the original series. Kyle Reese was a battle-hardened soldier, and that's not the look that he has here. And in fact, that's not the look that any of them have here. If we're talking about post-apocalyptic time, then the question becomes, where are they getting their food? How are they taking care of themselves? Because let's face it, these people look like they've been on the premium diet.
Yeah, luxury hotel suites.
Yeah.
Great skin. They look like actors, not like actual characters.
Not like characters coming from an apocalyptic world.
And I blame that on the directing, because that should have been an obvious move considering the franchise's history. So the lead
and the person that cast these people,
the casting director, of course, she dropped the ball. Okay, now to John Connor's acting. I personally did not like his acting. I didn't like his character. I think he was cast based on looks, and that does not always work, as we saw in this film 2 times over. He just wasn't done well. I wanted more of a hard character with a soft voice, and I got this guy reading lines, and I looked like the character that you're looking for, and it wasn't very good. So I was disappointed in that. So anyway.
And for John Connor, for me, again, they were trying to match him up with the original John Connor in Terminator 1. And again, he didn't look like he was battle hardened. The scars were there to try to throw you off. I get it. However, it didn't work. Needed somebody that actually looked the part. Now, the last piece here is Arnold Schwarzenegger, who, from the first original four, um, well, he's changed to this one. And he's changed in such a way that he comes across as being a little bit more mature. As he puts it, old, not obsolete. And and I thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually one of the best characters in this.
I absolutely agree with that. We were making a joke after that. You know, it's a poorly acted movie when Arnold Schwarzenegger does one of the best jobs, and he did. I mean, he didn't have a lot of lines. He was a robot, but everything he said had emphasis. Everything had a purpose, and it made sense. And it kind of was kind of tying together all the Terminators his lines did,
Yeah.
which kind of made it easy. Did make it easier to follow, but it did help with the fluency of the script. So, good job, Arnold. Now,
Okay, recommendations?
I'm going to say a no-go for me. I'm not into the absolute series of this. I saw the first one ages ago, and I saw this one. And because it was weakly acted, poorly cast, and confusing, I wouldn't recommend it. But I will mention the cinematography and the visual effects. They were top shelf, and that was actually pretty awesome to watch. So,
And having followed the Terminator series ever since it first came out back in the 80s, including the Sarah Connor Chronicles on Netflix, I would say definitely go and see it. Wait for it to hit the cheap seats, or wait till it hits Netflix or Amazon Prime, one of those. I wouldn't advise spending $10 to go see it at the park in this theater, who is charging way too much, by the way. Anyway, there's our little social comment.
okay, I'm Pam,
I'm Barry.
and this was the Mixed Review. Thanks for stopping by. See you
See
next
ya.
time.